Good morning, everybody. So I remember to charge my camera up most of the way. This is actually like 2 or 3 days after the last video. I can't lay around and waste this weather. Soon it's going to be too hot to want to move. So I decided to come on out and take a walk. I'm somewhere different today. I decided to walk down near the railroad tracks. Now, they don't have any signs down here saying like, oh, you can't be here. I don't think they're working anyway. So, it's Friday, so I don't think there's anyone down here. But if there is, I could probably, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I don't think I have anything to worry about, but, well, technically I shouldn't have anything to worry about. It's like, but that's not how the world works. You can just be like, all I'm doing is walking. There's no sign saying I can't be here. You have no grounds to detain or find me. But in this world, apparently certain people can do whatever they want to you, whether there's proof or not. So, yeah. Now this will eventually link up. Well, it won't link up to the public trail, but I can get onto the public trail from here. I'm planning on going. I'm thinking about going as far as I can today. Try to push myself a little bit to try to get back in the. Try to get ready for the big hike I want to do. Like I said, that's everything's subject to change. There's a lot of things I want to do, but it's getting harder and harder to be able to do anything. So, I'm not going to complain about it. It ain't going to matter. So, moving on. There's not really a whole lot I want to talk about, to be honest. Like I said, this is kind of just an excuse to try to push myself, and might as well make a video while I do it. Walking around and listening to the animal noises, and sometimes listening to what music I bring. It's nice and all, but having that reminiscent feeling of talking to somebody and saying my thoughts out loud kind of makes walking more fun. It almost makes me feel like I have a friend or something, or like I'm being social without having to be around a bunch of people. So, I guess it's like a mediocre way of getting my social fix. Kind of like vampires drinking cow blood, or people eating nothing but tofu instead of meat. It'll work. It's alright. But you're never really fully fulfilled. It passes. Oh, somebody lost their toy car on the railroad tracks. I already know how it happened, too. Somebody threw it from the road up top. Freaking meanies. Yeah, it's like a falsely quenching a thirst. Like drinking seawater. You feel like you're getting hydrated, but really all you're doing is drying yourself out. So, speaking of that, I don't know how much I talk about it. You know what? Let me get back to you. I'm getting close to town. Alright, so we're past the most public part. And we're coming up on a place where I gotta be kind of stealthy. Depending upon if they're working or not. I don't think there's gonna be anybody here. But I've been wrong before. So, we're just gonna keep it low. And see if we see anybody moving around. And if we do, we'll have to find another way. But I'm not too concerned about it. Like I said, well, it's always a problem of I have that sense of security because they don't really have a right to cause me any trouble, but I have that doubt because I've been caused trouble in the past when people don't have the right to do it. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. I have the confidence that I am within the bounds of the law. I have the confidence that I'm not doing anything wrong, but I've had that confidence before. So yeah. Now what I was saying was about the whole saltwater thing, and I kind of segued into something else. I don't know how much I talk about it, but I tend to mention, I'm pretty sure I probably mentioned a few times that I wanted to be a park ranger or game warden or something that works with nature. Hence why I do what I do a lot of the times. And one of those aspects that always interests me was kind of like hardcore bushcraft survivalist kind of stuff. And I learned some things over the years. I taught myself some stuff. Like I learned how to use a Ferris rod or whatever it's called a few years back. I know how to start a fire using a car battery. You know, stuff like that. You know, I taught myself a few things. My grandfather taught me some stuff. And I used to watch a bunch of different videos and junk. Now, I don't really like watching videos on survival shows because they Hollywood everything. You know, they glam it up and glorify it. You know, and it's unrealistic. If you're watching it for entertainment value, that's great. But if you're watching it to learn, or you're watching it to better your own skills, it's less great. There is indeed movement. Yeah, being real stealthy. I'm gonna leave the camera rolling just in case if anything happens. But I'm gonna do a little less talking. I don't even know what they'd be doing here. This is an old shutdown steel mill, or old shutdown scrapyard. If I go up there, I'm clear in the open. There's nothing I can really finagle around. And I'm pretty sure that's a road and a truck station. So if there's a bunch of people working, somebody will see me. To climb down there, be a pain to climb back up, and I don't know how far it'll get me. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I don't feel like turning around. Backtracking is lame, and I don't feel like dealing with people. I'm gonna climb down this, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, I climbed down. Wasn't all that bad. This is a little bit more annoying than a flat path, but it's nothing I can't handle. I just gotta make it past a bulk of the action, and then I can climb back up and take the easy route. But for now, this is fine. Like I was saying, I don't like to watch a lot of survival shows and stuff because it's always like, a lot of it's like glamored up for entertainment. Now, I'm not saying the things they do ain't possible, or some of the things that happen ain't possible. It's just a lot of the things are highly unlikely. Like, if you're starting a fire with like a bag of water, is it possible? Is it possible? Yeah, I believe so. I don't think I could do it. And I believe it is possible. But knowing what I know is that it takes like perfect conditions. You have to have optimal sunlight, optimal reflective surface area or convex surface area. You have to have the optimal angle to concentrate the light the best you can, and then you got to maintain that and hope a cloud doesn't block your sun. It's not, it'd be a million times easier and more reliable, in my opinion, to attempt to do a friction fire by the whole rubbing sticks together thing than doing the whole, oh, that was pretty muddy, than doing the whole bag thing. And as I like the whole survival idea, I am not even close to being qualified to really give advice. So yeah. I know, the thing is, I can relate this to my life, right? I know a lot of stuff that can cause a problem. I know a lot of ways to fix problems, but putting those practices into action is a completely different thing. So, having the knowledge of what the problem is and how to fix it doesn't mean you have the experience to actually do it. Well, I'm sure that makes sense. That's pretty straightforward. Like an instrument, you know? You can memorize the notes and you can know the song by heart, but if you don't practice, you ain't going to be able to play that song. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that one. That's a good way to put it in perspective. Ay caramba, I'm sweating. Up or down, up or down. Easiest of the two paths. Which one am I not going to fall into the river or get stabbed? This might be one of those situations where I'm kind of digging my own hole a bit. The further I go, the further I got to get back. I was planning a pretty big hike, but I was planning it on mostly hiking trails, not cutting through brush and old animal paths. But here looks like a good place to go. It's pretty clear. Might actually take 5, get a sip of water. The worst part about it is, I think about these things. Like, I always wanted to do survival situation kind of stuff. I always wanted to do extended camping trips and practice those kind of things. But I never was really given the opportunity to do it. It's like, that's not even really the truth, really. I mean, I guess I could pretty much practice those things just about anywhere, but, you know, if I had another person it'd be far more entertaining and far more enticing to do. And if it was like, or if I had like a means of transportation to get out somewhere, like a truck, a boat, and a four-wheeler, to get somewhere to, set up an area, build a real camp, that would be something too. But to hike, 3 or 4 miles to get into the woods, to hike 3 or 4 more miles, it just takes away from the fun and authenticity of it. Like, I try to teach myself a lot, like, mushrooms, what you can eat, what you can't eat, different animal habits, berries and fruits, different useful trees, just a bunch of more, I guess more or less, like, I wouldn't really call it advanced, but like more or less things that anybody that hikes should know, especially if they hike far. Like, I think anybody that enjoys nature should know a few useful plants, should know a few useful animal habits, should know a few good knots to tie, just things that could be useful in any situation. I think there should be like a class for it in school. Like, I would believe, and this is my opinion, that having like a survival class would be better used, more useful than like a history class. And I know a lot of historians and stuff are like, you can learn from the past, don't repeat the problem, or yada yada yada, BS, BS, BS. The truth of the matter is, history is repeating itself, and there's not a thing anybody can do about it. So, it's only a matter of time until, well, you guys, I'll probably be dead before it happens. But history is repeating itself. You can see the signs if you look close enough. And, knowing George Washington Carver invented peanut butter, right? I think that's true. I'm not sure. But I think George Washington Carver invented peanut butter. I'm pretty sure that's a historical fact. George Washington had wooden dentures. These things, they serve me zero purpose. I have no use for them whatsoever. There was, the Civil War happened, or the Declaration of Independence was signed in, 1876? 1877? When is that ever going to be useful? Am I going to be, by the time that knowledge is getting ready to die out, no, you know what? I can't think of a single way that that's useful, Now, throughout my life, if I had a class in school that taught me, 5 edible plants in each season in the general area, taught me 5 different types of knots a year, practiced to perfection, taught me how to sharpen knives and axes or something, or taught me pottery or water filtration. Is there a chance I'll ever use it? I would say far, far, far there's far more likely of a chance that I would use that information over knowing when the Declaration of Independence is signed. It's like, the more I look back on it, the more I look back at how the schools are, and the people around me are, it's like they're purposely making us stupider. Yeah, that's right, I said stupider. Even more stupider. Instead of actually educating us. Oh, a bunch of mindless zombies being wage slaves, you know, sitting in front of the boob tube all day. Well, certain people yuck up all the good food, the good partners, the good real estate, and we sit and rot away for somebody else's advancement. I'm getting off topic. You know, like I said, not that it really matters. It'll never change. When I said history is repeating itself, so what I mean by that is I don't really think... No, you know what? What I mean by that is exactly what I said. There used to be slaves, right? We used to have slaves in America. Predominantly, it'd be like African Americans. And I think at one point they enslaved Indians throughout history as well. And people always... the thing that gets me is... It's an atrocity and should never have been committed. But the thing that bothers me is that some Africans think that, you know, white people owe them for that. And it just bothers me because I'm like, I never once condoned slavery. I never once had a slave. I never once even considered it being something that could ever be excused as moral. How would I owe you? You know? I can understand you being upset about your ancestors. I can understand, you know, even still have some residual butthurtness about it. But as it was your great-great-great-grandmother, your great-great-great-grandfather, it was my great-great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandmother that caused the problem. The amount that it affects you is the same as it's my responsibility. Yeah, it happened in my bloodline. Yeah, it happened in your bloodline. But that's way in the past. But back to the subject. So what I mean by today, how history is repeating itself in one way, is that instead of it being a color or a nationality being slaves, now it's your family bloodline, where you're born into, your financial situation. It seems that the closer you are to the average, the closer you are to middle class, the more you're taken advantage of. You pay more taxes than the higher class, even though they have more money. And, excuse me, those taxes contribute to the lower class that contribute less in the first place. So, it's like you get stuck in this wage slave scenario where you're working just to survive, being told that, oh, you're going to make it big someday, oh, you're just around the corner from that promotion, oh, you're almost there for that, paycheck increase, but it never comes. Or by the time it comes, you know, inflation happens and everything around you goes up 10 cents. You get a 10-cent an hour increase, and everything around you, you know, a gallon of milk, a can of soda is 10% higher. So you don't really get that increase anyway. And then everyone else, or all these other people, are out on their yachts, yucking it up, drinking champagne, eating some caviar, and, you know, you're miserable, yelling at your wife, yelling at your kids because you can never make your life better. And you have no way to vent that anger. So the only way you feel better is making them more miserable. And then they're more miserable, and everybody's more miserable except the people that are actually at fault in the first place. It's a vicious, disgusting cycle. That's what I mean by history repeating itself. Slavery never ended. It just shifted. Instead of color, it's social standing. Instead of nationality, it's bloodline and pay grade. Alright, I'm going to go for a little bit. I'm starting to get a little bit choked up. I'm going to see how far I can make it through this jungle. And then we'll chat again in a little bit. Took enough of a break. Oh, good. I was kind of hoping this would happen. And a nice, straight, open shot. I figured sooner or later it'd break out somewhere to a nice clearing. And this is where a bunch of deer travel. And tracks and deer droppings. There's actually a bone. That's a little odd, to be honest. There's only one. That's the only bone I see. That's actually a really nice bone. For if I was gonna make something. But we're not gonna do that. Bone's kind of a pain to cut through. I mean, don't get me wrong. My angle grinder would make short work of it. But it's just, you know, unless I got invited to another Maker's challenge or something, I'm probably not going to be doing much of that. I'm a little curious if that's copper. I don't think it is. It's got to be steel cable. That's got to be steel, because that's copper. That's like, God, that's probably like, it's got to be steel cable, because if that's copper, that's probably like $1,000. Like if I came down here and cut it up and carried it back, it'd probably, like, it's the whole length of this. It'd be like $1,000. I'm trying to find my headphones, because there's small magnets in the back of the speakers, and they can stick to it if it's steel. Yeah, it's steel. I was gonna say, like, there was no way. I mean, look how much there is. If that was copper, it'd be a pain to get it out of here. But I would buy a new computer, more than likely. Or a train ticket to anywhere but here. And how it is, in fact, steel. This is where the river. Now this is also steel. The thing that bothers me is they painted this green color. And this is the color of oxidized copper. For the most part. Malachite. Or copper oxide. It turns this color. It's a little bit darker. And it's usually not as perfect. But from a distance, if you look at this, right away you think, well, it's some copper that's been sitting there for a really long time. But that is not the case. So, all I'm going to do is kind of BS. I'm just going to throw this video up. People watch it, they watch it. You know, I'm not really you know, it's like I said, it's like more of a form of therapy than actual entertainment. I don't have I'm learning new editing things, but I don't have the editing skills and the people on the payroll to make it big. So, I don't really have the motivation or drive to either. Like I said, I don't really know if I want to be famous. I know I keep saying that, it makes it sound like I actually do, but it really is a coin toss. A coin toss. Would it be kind of cool? Yeah, kind of. But I put enough information into my videos that people could figure out where I'm at. I'm sure somebody could figure out where I'm at if they put enough time into it. And that's not something I'd be too interested in. Depending on who it is, I guess. Any cute single 20-some-year-olds, you know, they want to come stalk me, that'd be alright. Female, preferably. Now, I have, it's kind of disgusting, to be honest. In my opinion, it's kind of disgusting. For some reason, like, homosexuals and old ladies seem to be, like, the biggest thing I attract. Like, yeah, I get the occasional, you know, mother of 3 that has, like, 2 baby daddies and stuff like that. But a lot of the times, it's like, you know, man seeking man or old woman seeking young buck. And I believe age is just a number, but within reason, you know, within reason. I think my thing is, on that subject, is that there are countless people out there that are 14 and because of poor parental supervision or parental motivation are doing the nasty. And I think that's wrong. I don't believe 18 should be the limit, though, you know. I think once you turn 16, it should be like probation. My version of probation. Like, you're being looked out for, you gotta check in to make sure everything's copacetic, but you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. True probation. Not the government gang protection I'm in. Oh, wow. Don't go nowhere. Big spider. That's a big one, you see it? And, like, I don't think those thoughts should ever cross your mind or ever be an option until you're 16. You know, smoking cigarettes, baby making, drinking alcohol. You're 16, you know, you should be looked after and taught to proceed with caution, but you should be allowed to live your life to the fullest extent. Because, in my case, you might lose a lot of that life. That whole... I've never been down here before. I might have to investigate that sometime. I think I'll wait till the drier season, though. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you know, like I told my cousin, I don't know if I mentioned this before, my grandmother brought it up, weirdly, of course, about sleeping with relatives. Now, I know this is off topic, but it kind of pertains to the age thing. If both parties are truly happy, are truly satisfied with their lives being with somebody 20 years older than them or a family member, that's good for them. Now for me, I've dated older women, I've dated younger women, but, I never went above or below 5 years. Would I? Maybe. Maybe. Depending on the circumstances. I've met younger girls that were far beyond their years mentally, and I've met older women that, had fun and could pass as not like physically, but, and not like stupid or immature, but like have that spark, excitement of like a 20 or 30 year old. So, would I? It would really depend on the circumstances. When I'm hunting for physical entertainment, I usually look for, you got to appeal to me physically in some way or another. I don't get down with, I don't get too interested in somebody that I'm not physically attracted to. But with that being said, you gotta have some level of intellect to complement mine. So I don't go for the dumb Barbie dolls, and I don't go for the overly smart nerds. I try to hit somewhere in the middle. Is usually what I go for. It's gonna get rough again. I knew two guys that were in their 50s, and they both had 25-year-old wives. To me, that's super weird. That gap's big. When something like that happens, one of them's using the other one. I almost fell. When something like that happens, usually one of them is using the other one for something. Maybe not in the end. Maybe if they spend a couple of years together, they actually grow to love one another or care for one another. But the initial thought, usually in my head, would be somebody's using somebody for something. Whether the woman for the money or the guy for her body, it's just usually how it is. Now, that's why I try to keep it, for the most part, I keep my gap around 5 years. I'm going to go again, because this is going to get rough. I'll talk to you the next clearing. Alright, so, ow. Oh, that kind of hurt. Stupid ankle. Oh, that actually really kind of hurt. But, it's cool, no big deal. It was, I don't know how to explain it. Do you ever excuse me. You ever over compress? If you're trying to kick through a wall or something and you get that sharp, quick pain? Yeah, that's what happened. It'll be fine. Didn't twist my ankle, so it's cool. No big deal. Actually, if I twisted my ankle here, that'd be a giant pain in the butt. This video is gonna be long. I think I'm using there's a power line that cuts through right about here. You guys can't see it through the trees, I don't think. There should be about 300 yards up yet. And I think I can use it to get back to the trail, in theory. If I want to. I should have climbed over this before I got the camera out. I gotta say, alright, I'm over it. A little barricade. But, I gotta say, like, okay, so, I can't, excuse me, sorry. Like I said, I still got residual flu symptoms. And all this talking and not drinking a lot of water is drying out my esophagus, and it's getting phlegmy. And anyways, so the good thing about this trail, or it's not even a trail, the good thing about this area is that even though there are rough spots that are like 100 yards or so, I get big open patches like this. So I get that little reprieve, and it's mostly flat. And I guess to be honest, I kind of needed this. Like, if I'm being honest, because it's just been, I'm getting more and more out of shape. I haven't been doing stuff like this nearly as much, and I need to get. You ever hear somebody that, like a pirate or a boat captain, and they say, I gotta get my sea legs? Well, when you walk on flat all the time, and you're always used to roads, you're always used to nice flat trails, it's a lot different walking on something that's not flat. And it doesn't bother me, because I hike in the woods, or I used to hike in the woods, 5 out of 7 days a week. So, it's like riding a bike. I get my groove back pretty quick. But there is a big difference, whether it's uphill, downhill, walking in the woods to opposed to walking on a flat piece of ground is a lot different. And sometimes it can take a little bit of getting used to. So, I guess coming this way wasn't a horrible idea. I didn't actually plan it. I had it in the back of my mind as an option, but I didn't really plan it. And as I was saying, before I get tangented off again, excuse me, there's the power line. And I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it's about 100 more yards up here. I'm still listening to horror podcasts, and I've been listening to more of the audiobook stuff now. I'm running out of people that I like that's doing more of the true stories. So I've been kind of listening to more of short audiobooks. When I can't find a good one of those to watch or listen to, I've been watching Survivor Man. He's pretty cool. I mean, like I said about survival shows, there's no doubt in my mind that he has probably 3 times as much knowledge as me and 10 times as much skill. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But you got to take whatever you see with a grain of salt, But I have been watching that a good bit. Mostly because it's spring season, and it's just nice to watch somebody do something I wish I could do. I don't know what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. But, I'm talking... Oh, yeah, Survivor Man. That's right. I have a new appreciation for walking through the woods and trying to film myself. Like, I'm only using this little itty bitty crappy camera. He carries like 3. I don't care how real his content is. Just walking through the woods carrying a camera is a bit of a pain. But let's have a Survivor Man moment here. Here, along the riverbed, this is where high tide, or when the river's high, is where it comes. These are wild scallions. You can dig them up, and there'll be a little bulb down there you can eat. You can eat the greens too. I'm not gonna eat it. I will. Why not? I'll eat a couple. I'm not gonna dig any up. But my experience with these is that they could be a little strong. Especially, well, I don't know about the fresh ones, but if you get them later in the year, they can have a bitter, strong, oniony kind of flavor to them. And now that I know there's a whole bunch of them down here, I might even come back. I do have them growing in my yard, but they're not nearly as untouched. You know, out here they would be. It'd just be better out here, I think. I'll eat some of them. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Because they're younger, and it's just the beginning of the year, they're a lot more mild. They still have that acidicness to them, but they still have that acidicness to them, but they're a lot more chill. See, they're all over the place. I might come back here with a bag or something and snag up a bunch of them. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, I have some grown in my yard. And once these bamboo shoots come back, or this here knotweed comes back, it's going to be a giant pain. So I won't be coming this way anymore because it would just be completely annoying to get through all of that. This is actually really good for you, because besides making your breath smell bad, it has a lot of vitamins and like amino acids. I might be in some trouble. It keeps getting more of a cliff as I go. Like, there's no way I can climb that. I have freehand rock climbed before, but I don't like the shell, soft dirt hillsides. Like, that's just a recipe for disaster. I don't have the gear or the experience or the courage to do that. That I can almost guarantee I either won't make it too far off the ground or I will get hurt. Now the thing that gets me about these is it doesn't seem like the animals eat them, which is really strange. But I think they have a natural, like, I don't quote me on this one. This I'm not sure. But I think they have like a natural kind of insecticide property. Like the smell can help repel some things. See, I'm getting to like almost sheer cliff. I might have to turn around. I don't know, do you think I could do it? I'll consider it, but I'm pretty out of shape. I'll consider it. I mean, if I do it, you're not going to get it on camera because I have no way of setting up the camera to film me and then get the camera back. If I had a rope or something, I could set the camera up to the wall and tie a rope to the thing and then just carry the rope up and then pull the camera up. Alright. I mean, it can't be more than 30 yards. I don't know. I'm probably not going to do it. I'm alone. I hate those kind of hillsides to begin with. It's too fragile. and I'm a long way from a comfortable exit if I were to get hurt. Like, to get out of here would be such a pain, especially if I hurt my leg. And I ain't doing that crap. Like, I'd hobble my way out of here with a twisted ankle, whatever. But if I broke my leg or broke my ankle or something, I would be quite upset. It would be quite a pain to get out of here. Now here's the deer trail, and the little buggers make it through this. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Now I got the option, I can go up around that way, probably, or I could try to get through that, and I think I'm going to get through that way. I'm going to go a little bit further and see if I can find an easy way up. If not, I'm going to turn around up here. Catch you in a bit.